text about the book called The Challenge. The book was written, it took me 5 years to write the book, and it's a story about letters between my son and myself, and letters that were also sent to my son from other members of our family while he was away for 5.5 months at a school here that's many people don't even realize it's outside of Bend, called the Oregon Youth Challenge School. And the Oregon Youth Challenge School is probably the place that saved his life and changed his lives for many people, including our entire family. So what I'll read from the book today is from the preface. And I came across, I guess, starting to write the book after Tony had been in the challenge and when he went into the Marine Corps. And so once he went into the Marine Corps, like most parents, we were left with an empty nest, if you will. And we had lost him once before for 5.5 months, but this time it was a little more serious as he took a journey to Afghanistan to fight for the United States Marines. So this is from just after he left for the Marine Corps, and when I went into his bedroom upstairs. It had always been Tony's room. I wandered up to his room to sit and reminisce. We had kept Tony's room intact while he was away. Team pictures, blue ribbons, trophies, certificates, posters, and multitudinous mementos covered the walls of his room. As I sat on his bed, I wondered how Leanne and I might approach his room in the coming weeks. I mean, he would be gone from home for a long time. Of course, a single day seems like a long time to be away from him. You know the feeling, right? As I took it all in, I tried to remember when and where the pictures had been taken and his prize trophies won. I realized I didn't have clear memories of many of the photos or friends in the photographs. Time challenges our memory, surely. But it appeared from the evidence before me that much of his life had passed by without my taking notice. The human element of taking things for granted, I guess. I approached his closet. It contained those things you might expect to find, arranged as only a teenage boy would care to have it. There were clothes on hangers. Good job, Tony. There were clothes stuffed on shelves, the floor, and behind storage bins containing baseball cards and old toys that had been long ago been retired. I reached into a box and I grabbed one of the hundreds of Matchbox die-cast cards. I remembered, when he was just a little boy, how I would bring home a new card for him that I would purchase at the Ertl Toy Factory store in Dyersville, Iowa, or just at about any toy store I could find when I was on the road selling musical instruments for a family music business. He would be waiting for me at the door when I arrived home. As I sat on the edge of the bed, I could visualize his beautiful little face, a smile from ear to ear, and his high-pitched voice. And then, on the top shelf, all the way to the right side, and below some caps and baseball gloves, were the letters, our letters. The letters I had written to Tony were all placed neatly in a shoebox. It was a typical shoebox, I guess. It had a dark gray lid, while the sides and bottom were a lighter gray, maybe like the gray you would see on a cool and crisp rainy day. Most of the letters were still in their original envelopes. I recognized some of the envelopes, and I remember specifically writing on the outside of some of them something I did often, as if I had to get one more word in before placing the letters in the mailbox. Looking at my letters reminded me of how deeply sad I was writing so many of them. I could feel the sadness return as I ran my fingers over each one, attentively looking for clues that might remind me of the day I that wrote the letters and the sadness that was part of almost every day that Tony was away. With the letters I had written to Tony were letters and cards he had received from others as well. I never knew, or perhaps I had just forgotten, that so many people had been part of the journey with Tony. All in all, there were more than 225 cards, or letters that came home with Tony that were placed into the old shoebox. For thousands of years, letters have served as a primary connection between people. I've enjoyed reading published letters that now provide us the historic perspective and the relevance to the way people have communicated with each other for centuries. The letters written by Dwight Eisenhower to his wife are some of my favorite beautifully written letters. Now, the letters written from me to Tony perhaps compare not to those written by Dwight Eisenhower to his wife, maybe in 1945, while fighting on the front lines during World War II, where one letter said, "Possibly I've been remiss about writing the past 2 weeks. Although I've seen 2 or 3 teletypes, from my papers you will understand that we have been under some stress, and you'll understand that it has been hard to sit down and to compose thoughts applicable to a letter to one's best girl." Or perhaps like one handwritten and updated from Marilyn Monroe to her famed acting teacher, Lee Strasberg, in which she sadly exclaimed, "My will is weak, but I can't stand anything. I sound crazy, but I think I'm going crazy." Nor do our letters compare to any of the more than 250 letters and documents that were auctioned off by an anonymous collector in April 2003 at the Douglas Elliman Madison Avenue Art Gallery. This is a challenge. How 144 letters changed my life, the life of my son, and will change your life too. Thank you for listening.